media question from Lauren, California.
That's me.
She writes, I have 2 dogs, a 6-year-old Brussels Griffon, her name's Rosie Lou, and the 2-year-old German Shepherd is named Gracie. Oh, I love Gracie, how sweet. What great names. Anyway, I have a garden and sometimes Gracie eats some of the plants and the grass. Is that a problem? And what should you look out for? You know who does that too? Bella Boo Blue. She is a grass-eating girl.
Yes.
Grass-eating girl. Oh, look at those babies. Oh.
They're super cute. I know. I look
Two
it up. The
knuckleheads.
Brussels are fun. Those faces, man. I said, like, as soon as you see them, you can't resist. You can't resist. Yeah, I mean, listen. Those two grass-fed dogs, I call them right there. They look healthy and they look happy. And I will just say this right off the bat: anybody who tells you they know exactly why dogs eat grass, they're not actually telling you the truth, because the reality is it varies so much depending upon the dog. Some dogs eat it just out of instinct. Some dogs like the taste of it. There's been certainly theories about providing roughage so that food can move through the intestine. And then, of course, there is a small subset of dogs who will eat grass if they have an upset stomach, and you'll actually see them vomit. But by far, they are not the majority. So I would say grass in general, totally fine. Nothing necessarily to be careful about, except for these 3 Ps, and I call them parasites, pesticides, and plants. Now, listen, hookworms, roundworms, Giardia, leptospirosis, these are all bad things. These are all invisible enemies that live in the grass. And if your pet's not on a diligent parasite prevention plan, definitely talk to your vet. And then, of course, pesticides. If the grass has recently been treated with pesticides, listen, these can be dangerous. They can cause vomiting, diarrhea, muscle tremors, and things like that. So make sure that the grass has not recently been treated. But then, of course, there are plants out there that can be problematic and toxic. It used to just be a binary thing, toxic versus non-toxic. But now things are a little bit more nuanced, and we call them toxic, poisonous, or completely safe. And I would put them in those 3 categories. Listen, if you're at home, you're like me, you don't really know plants to their sort of encyclopedic knowledge. And so what I like to do, in case you're worried, is once you've researched the plant, just put a card in the vase that's either red, orange, or green. That way you know the threat level. And if you have a pet that's over your house that eats something and you're nervous about it, well, now you know, okay, there's a card right in the vase. We know that this is not going to be a problem.
Right?
Yeah, whenever we put plants into our home,
It was so staged.
we Google it first and say, is this going to make our dog or anyone else's animal sick? And we try and make a different choice. It's amazing the wealth of information there is on this. But you bring up something that is so smart, and I don't think I've ever thought of it. I don't ask how many times you guys treat the lawn a year. I never worry about her eating grass, because when she eats the grass, she seems fine and she just goes about life. But yeah, I never thought about that. When you have your lawn people come, you need to ask them what they're using on your lawn and know when that's happening. Duh. But we're not here all the time, so you don't always know. You gotta ask.
That's a really great point. And the reality is, people have been home a lot and they're getting more plants. And you take a look here to my right here, you've got the lily, which is extremely nephrotoxic. It can definitely cause death to the kidneys of cats, and it can cause renal failure, which is absolutely disastrous and very dangerous. Even just consumption of a partial leaf. In the first 2 hours, you'll see vomiting and diarrhea in cats, but then the renal failure starts. Now, in dogs, we don't expect to see renal failure if they eat that. However, I personally would want to know the kidney values if you told me your dog did eat this Easter lily. So these can be dangerous. Also, you look here, this beautiful plant right here is the hydrangea. It's, a symbol of gratitude, peace, and beauty, but your dog will not be grateful if they eat that, because it can cause vomiting, diarrhea. Now, fortunately, it's not when I put a red card. This is more of an orange. This is more of a red card, because it's probably not going to cause a fatality or death, but it will cause vomiting. vomiting and diarrhea. And then, of course, the green right here. This is a nice succulent. We've got plenty of these out.
Yeah, Rosie eats those a lot.
We do the same.
Absolutely. 100%. So if you're in a situation where your dog has contact with a succulent, you can at least be safe and feel peace of mind that, okay, this is non-toxic. I would go ahead and put a green card in that base. That way you don't need to look it up every single time.
Thank you, Dr. Courtney. We adore you. We hope to see you again.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay, Dr. Courtney. Okay, now we're going to switch back to humans because I don't think dogs and cats do a lot of investment planning. We're going to doctor up our finances.